Morning, on the road again. This is day 4 of the walk for justice. Just left the place called Manching and I'm going towards Hepberg. It's actually one of the shortest walks today because the third and the fourth days of a walk are always the toughest, so I don't want to overdo it and not reach my target, which is Nuremberg, the High Court, where the historic Nazi trials were held and at least some justice was served. But especially the promise was made after those trials that the free world would never allow that to happen again. And as I've said before, and as we all know, the free world is not only allowing it to happen again, but they're also wining and dining the Chinese leaders, the criminal Chinese government, which are more or less the Nazis of these modern times. So today's walk is dedicated to yet another innocent, highly revered Tibetan Lama, Tenzin Rinpoche, who did nothing except promote his own culture and language. He was so loved by his people. They threw him into jail. He got a life sentence. In the meantime, it's been reduced to 20 years. He's already served 12, if I'm correct. I posted a link earlier where there's detailed information about his situation and his crime of just being a Tibetan Lama. The Chinese state is just evil. These people running that place, China, what's known as China today, just evil people. And I think a state like China, like the Nazis, that's when people like that come into power, that's when sadists, serial killers, pedophiles, rapists, that's when they have a feast day. You know, then the game is on for them. And that's why they become so strong, because probably for all humans, the easiest way to get what you want is to use violence. And those states are built on violence. And they're kept alive by violent people doing violent, evil things. And that's why being part of a non-violent, peaceful movement is sometimes a really difficult task, because it takes a long time. But it's actually the only way to confront these people, because they can deal with violence. They're experts in violence, but they can't deal with peaceful people. We are their greatest enemy, and I'm proud. I've learned so much from the Tibetan cause and from people I've met, especially the former prisoners that are now in exile. They're the ones I feel close to. And when you speak to them and you see how loving and caring they still are, then you know you have to remain non-violent. To step into the trap of violence is exactly what the Chinese criminal government wants us to do. And that's why they're always saying we are potential terrorists, or we want to bring down their state. Well, yeah, that's true. That's the only thing that's not a lie. We have to bring down that state. We have to join up with the good people of China and get these evil people out of power. And I think China's greatest weakness is definitely the West, because without the West, that place would collapse. So we are in the West. We have freedom of speech. We have elected politicians, and I think they're the ones we have to really work hard on. They must have a conscience. They must have some moral values. And we have to appeal to them and pressurize them anytime we can, with letters, with demonstrations. And we have to whittle away at their arrogance and force them to do the job they're being paid to do. They weren't born to be leaders. We elected them. So it's our responsibility to make sure they keep doing their job. And part of their job is not to be complicit with evil states like the criminal Chinese one. So that's what it's about today. Now it's time to walk.